Got some gritty hip hop. New Jack Swing at number 37, up from 40, Poison by Belle Div DeVoe. This would become a massive hit. The album would sell over 2 million copies. Belle Div DeVoe, formerly background singers of New Edition. New Edition broke up. Boy, it was just a multitude of talent. Now, this group right here, Belle Div DeVoe, a lot more grittier, a lot more edgy, a lot more risque than New Edition. You might remember New Edition, the bubblegum days. Cool It Now with Mr. Telephone Man, and there was Candy Girl in 1983. And but of course these guys are getting older, and it's time to get down and get to it. That's right, Mel DeVoe of Poison, and notice that the beat of this record, sampled recently by Bruno Mars with the Finesse, a song that he did with Cardi B, and it was just a brilliant retro record by Bruno Mars, bringing back that old school sound from back in the day. Two drum machines were used on this record, I believe. Very popular, but I'll get into that in just a few minutes. But let's go into this record. Belle did DeVoe. Ronnie DeVoe, Michael Bivins, and Ricky Bell. Ricky Bell was the lead singer. And Bevins and DeVoe, they were rappers and they sang background. When the group broke up, now, we got a constellation of talent here with New Edition. You got Johnny Gill, you got Bobby Brown, you got Ralph Tresvant. Now, 1990, Johnny Gill came out with "Rub You the Right Way," spring of 1990. He was coming out. He popped out that record, and there was also Ralph Tresvant. He did oh gosh, "Sensitivity," late 1990, early 1991. These guys, they were really venturing out. And there was also Johnny Gill. Remember My in 1991. Of course, well, I've already mentioned Rub You the Right Way, and there was My. But Floor, remember Floor in 1993 by Johnny Gill. Now, that was a jam and a half right there. That was like, man, the record to me was kicking it. Old school jamming, funk jam back in the 60s and 70s. That feel to it, that Floor by Johnny Gill, that was a throwdown right there. This record was too, Poison. These guys, they didn't know what to do. I mean, they didn't have any plans when the group, after New Edition, broke up. And Jimmy Jam, the legendary Jimmy Jam, producer, working with Janet Jackson, he was working with Ralph Tresvant and Johnny Gill. He approached these three guys. He said, why don't you dudes make an album together? I'll produce it." And that's what they did. Used a couple of drum machines, Roland 808. I remember talking about that one in the previous video, but there was the SP 1200. This was a big drum machine, and they were unabashed about using drum machines. Gotta understand, back in the 80s, there was a lot of people back in the 80s, drum machines, they just, there's no emotions in drum machines. That is why 80s music sounds so mechanical, mechanistic, no emotions, no feelings. A lot of those critics were saying that back in the day. But Belle Div DeVoe, they were not ashamed to use those drum machines. The SP 1200 was pretty versatile. You could create a song on the SP 1200 or build the bulk of it up, and it was sort of a portable instrument, a portable contraption of sorts, and it helped reduce studio cost and became really big among the hip hop, the rappers back in the day in the 80s and 90s. And this could hold, the SP 1200 could hold up to 100 patterns, 100 songs, and drum sequences, it can hold up to 5,000 of them. Maximum capacity, 5,000. And the sampling rate was at 26.04 kilohertz, which is about half the fidelity of a compact disc, which kind of gave it its gritty sound. Well, anyway, love technical details like this, if you're into the technical stuff. Belle Div DeVoe at number 37 on my fantasy. Oh, one other thing. The song written by a guy named Elliot Strait. It's got an E at the end. I'll just pronounce it as Strait, otherwise known as Dr. Freeze. He wrote Color Me Bad's I Want to Sex You Up. He wrote that one too. That went to #1 in 1991 rather, by Color Me Bad. But it's all about Belle Div DeVoe. It's moving up on my fantasy playlist from 40 to 37, on its way to the top 10, probably to #1. Fantasy playlist, April 23rd, 1990.